It is about you. You are the selling point, and the landscape is changing. So be your authentic self, because no one wants to go to work being miserable all day. Look at your own resume, look at your own LinkedIn, and look at your impact and what you have provided for that other company. And if you write things in that context, you're going to talk to the next employer.
In my opinion, it's about giving the customer what they really want and just blowing their mind once they get it. And that's what I really love to see, honestly.
Get people to do more of home cooking, home cooked meals, healthy meals, so we can all live long and happy.
I'm very proud to be a mom, because not for nothing, women are amazing.
Oh my God, the sacrifice, and how we make it look so easy.
I was just telling Joanne before we got on the call, I said, I had to run from my daughter's school. They had an Easter egg hunt. I said, all right, Mom, I gotta go to work. But, you know, it's, as moms, we make it happen, you know, supernatural abilities. We are the example for them, you know, and I know that with them being a better version of us.
You have to try. You never know how creative you are until you try. Because I didn't think I was creative. I found my creative side during a horrible time in my life.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is another wonderful Thursday, and guess what? It's also a major holiday. So if you are listening to this, I hope that means that you are cooking up a nice meal and that you are enjoying yourself with some family. I am just doing this live because I wanted to close out with a big bang for our finance month. Last month, we were able to put together a full month of conversations around voting as we were leading into the voting season. And this month, we have been talking about finance and wealth and finance, wealth and health, finance, health and wellness. Tongue twister. But yes, that is what we have been focusing on. And next month, we're going to be talking about community and how we engage in our community in a multitude of different ways. So we'll have some professionals come on and talk to us about that. And trust me, you do not want to miss our lunch and learns coming up in December. They are truly going to be amazing. Today is going to be a little different. It's not going to be an interview, but it is going to be full of nuggets that you definitely want to listen to while you're cooking, or just take a moment and take a break so that you can sit down and take some notes, because I'm definitely going to be sharing some nuggets for you as a business owner who may be watching and trying to figure out how to manage their finances. So today, our topic is small plates, big wins. How to take control of your business cash flow. And what that really means is, in order for you to get an understanding of your finances, you have to allocate them in a certain way. I took last week we were talking about Dave Ramsey, and I took a course with Dave Ramsey for my personal, because I had my business stuff organized. My personal life, it wasn't the same. I was trying to manage it and see if I could manage it the same way, but there are some things that are different that happen in your business that should be different from your personal. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. It is something that I've been doing for the last 3 years, and it has helped me to organize my business. So I am going to bring up my screen here. That's me. Hey. So welcome again. My name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. And this is now, this organization is a nonprofit. And one of the things that I needed to learn as I was starting multiple businesses was how to manage these businesses, manage their finances separately. At the end of the year, I would be in hives because I would be talking to my tax accountant. I'm like, what can we do? Because these taxes is coming for me and I ain't ready and I know I'm gonna have to pay something. And I would be like, oh, he would tell me, oh, you got $150 to pay. I'd be like, yes. Or he'll tell me, oh, you got $5,000 you got to pay. And I was like, what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. What do you mean 5,000? Like, there's no way. How is there 5,000? I don't even have 5,000 in my account right now. How we got to pay $5,000? How does that work? So that's when I started reading. I do what I do, and I start reading. I start researching. I start taking workshops. I start taking classes. I go into the educationally astute Athenia. To figure it out, because it's not going to work for me. And once I figure it out, I'm always of the vein of once I know, I want to make sure that I'm sharing information with others so that they know as well. So let's jump in to what this is all about. So we're going to talk about our objectives. Our objectives are going to be to understand the profit first system and how it differs from traditional counting systems. And this was, like, again, a big mindset shift for me, because one of the things that he talked about is when you are talking about like profit first, or even just allocating and having more of, what happens is we have one bank account. And when we have this one bank account, all of our money goes into this one account. So say, for example, I did a job and I got paid $5,000 to do the event. So I'm like, yeah, woohoo, I got $5,000. All right, then, something comes in tomorrow and it's like, oh, you can sign up for this program. It's only $350. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got $5,000. I could do that. And then I'm like, oh, something else comes in. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got $5,000. Well, now, it's going down a little bit, but I still got a lot of money. And I end up getting to the point where I got more, the same like your home, right? I got more month and not enough money to meet that month. And the issue with that was I'm not paying myself, and I'm not turning a profit. People be like, oh, well, how much profit is your business making? And I'll be like, I can't really tell you. And these are all parts of the reason why. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So learning how to take control of your finances with a simple and actionable approach. I didn't realize how simple this was. And once you see it, you're going to be like, really? It's just that simple? Yeah, it is. Gaining practical steps to ensure profitability and sustainability. Those are going to be the big key takeaways. So let me ask you, what are your biggest challenges with managing cash flow in your business? Put that in the chat. I know your hands is probably dirty and everything, but just put that information in the chat when you get a chance, even if it's a little bit later. I do read all of the messages and I'll come back and respond. So I definitely would like to know, what are your biggest challenges with managing your money and your cash flow in your business? So keep this top of mind as we go through these questions and go through these presentations, because I know my biggest challenge with managing cash flow, like I said, was I had more month at the end than I had money. It was affecting a number of things. It was affecting me paying back any debts that I may have owed, me paying my staff. Like I said, I wasn't paying myself. Like there was nothing coming to me every month. I was working just so that I could pay my staff, or to make sure that my staff had got paid, or I was working to make sure that the automated systems that I'm using, or the text message systems, or whatever programs my overhead was being paid, but not that I had money going into my pocket. So first and foremost, we have to change our thinking, rethink traditional accounting. Most businesses follow the traditional way, right? Which is sales minus expenses equals a profit, which makes sense. You made a sale, you did work, you got money, you got paid for it, and then you take away all of the expenses. I had to use gas, my insurance, my program, the programs that I used to get there. So for example, my balloon business, the materials, I had to buy balloons. If I had anyone working with me, I had to pay them. And then whatever was left over, that was my profit. So with the profit first system, they're like, absolutely not. that is not the way to do it. So that is not how you go. That is not what is going to be fruitful for you as an individual in the business. And it's not the way that you are going to end up paying yourself. So with the profit first formula, they say sales minus profit into being your expenses. So meaning I'm going to get my sale, I'm going to take my money off the top, and then whatever's left over is what gets spent on all of the expenses that need to be made. Now, people are like, so what if I made $5,000 and I was like, oh, I'm going to take $2,500 off the top as my profit? That means only $2,500 is left for expenses. So what do you need to do? You need to figure out how to get that stuff into that $2,500. So that means you got to work to see, you got to lower whatever overhead costs you have, whatever fees you are spending on staff, you got to lower that so that you can get that $2,500 if you want to be walking away with that $2,500 profit. So I hope that makes sense to you when you, just to give you a little bit of an understanding on that. And just to think to yourself, how would your business change if you prioritize profit first? How would your business change if you prioritize your profit first? I'm going to show you how simple that looks. So next slide, please. So first and foremost, think of your small plate as a principle, like portions, tables. You go to an event, you have all these small plates at your for your 5-course meal. You have one for your salad, you have one for your dessert, you have one for your main course, you have one for your soup. Like these are all small plates, right? But when you put them all together, it makes one big meal. And the same thing for this. So you're going to divide your revenue into these 5 different principles, or these 5 different accounts, so to speak, right? And people are like, oh, well, why do I do that? And again, is because what I see in my account is not what I have, right? That $5,000, a percentage of that needs to be taken out every single time to go towards the taxes. I charge people for taxes, right? So that tax money, I'm like, oh, that tax money gets lumped in with the rest of my money. No, that tax money does not get lumped in with the rest of my money. That tax money needs to be put aside so that at the end of the year, I'm not like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I got to pay these taxes. Nope, I got the money in there already. And guess what? If there's money left over, then that money carries over to next year, and then that goes towards my taxes next year. So maybe, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, maybe then I can change my allocations, and my allocations for my taxes don't need to be so high. So what does this really look like? I want you to take a walk with me down this thought. When you buy toothpaste, right, and you put it on your toothbrush, how much toothpaste do you put on your toothbrush? Most people, when they first get a brand new thing of toothpaste, see that whole, that this the toothbrush, right? They're going to put toothpaste along the whole bristle, every piece of the bristle, right? When you have a brand new thing of toothpaste. When you get to the end and that part where you like rubbing it all the way out and you pressing it through and you trying to get, and you just get that little pea size piece of toothpaste and you put it on the toothbrush and you brush your teeth. It's enough soap, right, to brush your teeth. Mm-hmm. Have you ever looked at the instructions on the back of toothpaste? What does it say? It says, put a pea-sized amount of toothpaste on your toothbrush. That's funny, because it's not until we get to the bitter end that we're actually doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is utilizing a pea-sized toothpaste on our toothbrush. So imagine if you instead were putting a pea-sized piece of toothpaste on your toothbrush from the very beginning when you got a brand new pack of toothpaste. So now, guess what? My toothpaste, I used to go through 2 packs of toothpaste a month. Now I go through 1 pack of toothpaste every 2, sometimes 3 months. I don't have to buy toothpaste because I changed my mindset for that particular thing. And that's what I'm talking about. Once you are able to change your mindset and you're able to see things a different way, you like, oh my gosh, that was so simple. And actually, that was the directions. That's what they told me to do. But I was doing it wrong because I just felt I had more, so I used more. And that's what happens when we have a bank account. I have more in my account. That's what I see. So I'm using more. So if you have different bank accounts now for your money and you put them into separate accounts, and the only one that you see is your owner's expenses or your operating expenses, then guess what? That's all the money that you have to spend. That's the true value of money that you have in your account, because all of the other money had to be accounted for separately. So these are the 5 buckets or plates that you should have your money split into. So I have 5 accounts for my business accounts. For each of my businesses have 5 accounts. One of them is for my income to come into, where all my revenue goes. So that's whenever I get paid, all of the money goes into this main account, that one account. Nothing comes out of that account unless I take it out to separate it into another. But there is no bills that are coming out of that account. There are no any other allocations other than what I am taking and put into the other one. Okay. So the next one is profit. You reward yourself for running the business. So people are like, well, what does that mean? So if anybody has stock, do you have stock options? Have you been having stock for a long time? Did you ever, like every quarter, where you would get something in the mail or email that says that you are getting paid dividends because your stock options went up and now you're getting paid what's called dividends or interest from that? I always wondered, what exactly does that mean? How exactly does that work? This is exactly what it is. This is the profit. This is the amount of money that is being created in your accounts from, let's say, interest or money that was put aside. This is money that was made above and beyond what you made for the work that was done. And again, we'll go into this a little bit later, but if you are finding that once you go through this process and it is still not enough money to sustain your business, you have one of 2 things that you need to do. You either need to increase your prices or you need to find ways to lower the cost, the amounts of money that is coming out, the amount of things that you're paying for out of your accounts. And I hope that makes sense. So that's the profit part. Taxes. We all know Uncle Sam, we got to pay Uncle Sam. It's money that we owe Uncle Sam regardless. We have to pay him, right? Then there's owner's compensation. Hey, I'm the owner. That's me. How much are you putting in to pay yourself, your personal paycheck? And then the last is operating expenses. What does it cost me to run my business day to day to pay for my business costs? So if you have not done this, try it for a month and see how it works. What's stopping you? Some people might say, oh, the banks charge me money, $25 for every account that I have and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? There's a solution. There are bank accounts that you can use that actually do allow this. Now, let me tell you something. So something that happened to me, right? Juneteenth, once it became a national holiday, we were scrounging at the ground trying to get monies to pay every year. And then one year, this is the year that it became a national holiday. It was also during that time when Black Lives Matter was happening. So a lot of organizations, and I'm just going to turn this down so it doesn't interfere. But a lot of corporate entities, they were looking for places or ways that they can connect with the community, the African-American community, right? So we just happened to be one of those organizations that they wanted to sponsor, to support. And love that. I'm praying that they do that again soon. So I got biggest check I've ever seen at one time, $250,000. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, yeah, we got to get this. Now we can get that stage that we always wanted. Now we can make sure that we have that. We can have this, all that other stuff, right? This was before I did my Profit First module, because I would have had this better. My money would have been better allocated. But what I did learn is that when I had this money in my account, that the bank that I was with, they called me up on the phone. It was like, hey, I was like, yeah. I was like, no, the check is real. It's not fake. They was like, no, that's not what we're calling you about. I was like, oh, okay. Well, what's happening? They was like, we have some stuff we want to offer you. Stuff you want to offer me. They was like, yeah, we want to offer you. Do you want to open up more accounts? Why do I want to open up more accounts? I was like, oh, well, people who usually have a lot of money, they will open up more accounts so that they can sparse out their money so that they can use each account for a specific reason. Isn't that what I'm telling y'all about right now? So you telling me when I have my little $5,000 in the account that y'all ain't want to call me and tell me about this? No, only because I got this money in the account now that you want to tell me these deets. Okay. So what else? They was like, oh, we also have where you can do payment, be able to pay your staff, and we're not even gonna charge you to use the platform. So you're telling me because I got $250,000 in my account that you're not gonna charge me to pay my staff, like the fees that go along with charging me to pay my staff? He was like, no, that's waived for you. Okay, so you're waiving that. You're waiving these $25 fees per account, and you telling me open up as many accounts as I want, and you're fine with that. Any check fees, any fees that I would have to pay out to people would be reduced. And my savings accounts go from 0.01 something percent to like 0.5%. And they were like, and we'll give you, if you want to take out a loan, you can take out a loan and we'll reduce the interest. And the first 6 months, you won't have to pay it back. I was like, my mind was blown because I was like, wait, so you're telling me that when you have money, y'all are willing to have money, make more money when you have more money. But thus, as at the bottom scrounging, we can't get these opportunities. So it really opened my eyes to see, and needless to say, all that money was gone because I was paying stuff and paying things out. I was like, oh, you get $1, you get $1. Yeah, I should have been more frugal with my money at that time, because now we're in a space of we're figuring out how to manage and to get more money coming in so that we can manage our operating expenses and all of the other things. So I said that story to tell you that it is happening for the big wigs in the large spaces where people who are high capita financial accounts. This is what happens in those spaces. And my thought to you is don't wait to have to get there for that to happen to you, for you to figure it out. I always say, have your cup ready for the overflow instead of having your cup filled to the brim. And when that overflow comes, there's nowhere for it to go. Okay. Just to recap this part, divide your revenue into 5 buckets. One is going to be income. That's the account that only money goes into. That's the only account money is going to go into. You're going to take the money from that income account, and then you're going to put it into these 4 other accounts, which is going to be your profit, your taxes, your owner's compensation, and your operating expenses. Okay. All right. I hope you got that. I'm going on to the next one. So next is how to sequentially go about this process, right? So once you've divided your revenue, it's important to allocate funds in a specific order because it is a mentality thing. Again, we talked about changing your mindset. You have to have the mind shift to be able to change your mindset. And the way you change your mindset is by going in this particular order, because what you're saying when you go in this order is, I'm important. my mind, the time that I spent, the allocation that I spent to read, to research, to be sitting on the floor. I've been talking about confidence all last week, talking about sitting on the floor and crying, lack of confidence, all of that, everything that I go through as an owner of a business, as a CEO, as a founder, all of those titles that you want to put behind your name, an executive assistant, whatever it is, that I need to give myself something first. So the way you're going to go about this is profit. You're going to pay yourself first. You're going to put a percentage of the amount that's in that income account into profit first. So you're going to take the money and you're going to go here. Next is owner's compensation. You, again, goes into you. And I'm going to tell you what that profit, how to utilize that profit one in a little while, right? Owner's compensation. Make sure you're rewarded for your work. Make sure you're paying yourself. Over 90% of African-American businesses are solopreneur businesses. That means that they are just doing the work for themselves, everything. They're the baker, the candlestick maker, the tax accountant, the researcher. They are every position that you can think of. The HR person, they are it. So if you are all of those positions, why are you not paying yourself? You still walking away with no money at the end of the month. That don't make sense. So this is how you do it. Profit, owner's compensation. Then gotta pay Uncle Sam. Make sure he got his money. So you ain't gotta be worried about taking money out your pocket, your owner's compensation or your profit to pay Uncle Sam later. And then lastly, operating expenses. Fund your business operation with what is left. This sequence ensures your priorities, that profit, personal compensation are never forgotten, because we usually are at the very bottom of this. We have the operating expenses first, then we'll have our taxes, then maybe owner's compensation, and never, profit is never on the table, because it's like, I don't have the money left over to put on there. So which of these categories do you think you've been neglecting the most? I know myself, it's definitely been profit. Next slide. So this idea of out of sight, out of mind, this removes temptation from us. This is a critical step. Keep your profit out of reach. Open a separate account. So what I was telling you before was to have all of these accounts into one space. Now what I'm telling you is to open up another account in a totally different place. And I suggest to look into any banks that don't charge any fees. It might just be a savings account that you could do. So you have a lot of the federal banks that you can do. You have, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of them. But any banks that you can go to or find that won't charge you a fee for a savings account. This should be a savings account, because this money is going to be in your account for a little while. And I'll also, again, explain to you what you can do with this profit account as well, right? So make sure the money is not easily accessible. So I had one account, right, that I would just send money to every time I got paid. And it was at a bank that was in Queens. And that was the only location. I lived in Brooklyn. So the only way I can get the money is I had to literally drive to Queens to go to their bank to take out money out of the bank, because there was only, I think, 2 banks in the whole state. And that was the only place that it was. So I had to go to Queens to get money out of my bank account. Let me tell you, the only times that I went to go do that, because of the work, and they were only open for a certain amount of times, that the window was like this. So, and it was like a busy area of Queens. So there was a lot of traffic. It was always congested. So if I was going, I had to be really intentional, and I had to be really stressed for the money to go all the way up there to go get this money. Okay. So that's what you want to do. You want to put some roadblocks in the way so that you are not going to get that money. It was not, I also did not have, I didn't get the monthly messages. I got them like a message that said, here is your thing. You had to log in. So I was like, yeah, I ain't doing all of that. I would always forget my login information. Like, really make it difficult for you to get access to this money. Okay. And that's where you go and send your profit. Also, you also go and send your tax money, because guess what? When do you need your tax money? I don't need my money until March of the following year. So I don't need to see that money. As long as I know money is going into that account every time I get paid, that I'm sending money to that account, then I don't need to see it on a regular basis. So my profit account and my tax account, I do not need to see on a regular basis. And those should be in a different bank away from me. And guess what? They should be in an interest-bearing account, because I'm going to have money in these accounts that I'm not touching for an entire year. Guess what? That money can grow interest. It can grow more funds for me without me having to worry about it. So why? If the money is accessible, it becomes what? Tempting. It's like, oh, the money is right there. Oh, let me just take this money and just move it back into my other account because I didn't think about this bill that I had to pay. If I don't see it, then I don't have it. I can be in a mindset, oh, all I have is $500 in this account. Not I got $500 in my this one account, but I got $2,000 in my tax account. Let me just take out a couple of, another $500 out of my tax account and put it into my operating account. No, because at the end of the year, guess what? You're going to be stressing again about the taxes because you were taking money out and you were not prepared. Okay, next. Consistency is key. Consistency. I've been doing my workout journey. I've been doing my food health journey. I've been doing my journaling journey. All of those things I try to do every day. And here's the key word. I said try. I am not perfect. Nobody is perfect. We are all imperfect beings. But if you are putting money into an account separately or doing anything, just try to do it every day. Have a system. Maybe every Monday, this is something that you do. Maybe most people are like, oh, every Sunday I go to church and then I do my laundry. That's a system. That's something that, like clockwork, people know that that's what's going to happen. Same thing for your kids. Like, they know every night before I go to bed, we're going to pray. We're going to read a Bible verse. So whatever it is, just create a rhythm, so that you are able to have it on autopilot, and it's also a part of yourself. So in the book Profit First, they suggest doing it maybe twice a month, so every 2 weeks, or choosing a day, like every 10th and 25th. I tried doing that. Personally, that did not work for me, because the 10th might fall on a Sunday. I'm not working on Sunday, so I ain't thinking about that. So then now it's on the 11th, and now I'm sitting there trying to figure out, oh, when on the 11th do I have time to do it? I'd rather not do that. Suggest maybe doing maybe first and third of the third Monday or something like that. Whatever day, I like. Mondays for me are my office days, where I'm just doing work, I'm researching, studying. Like, those are the days that I do that on. So maybe you do that. That could be, Monday is a day that you may pay out and do things. Or what I now have, I have an account that automatically takes the money out every Monday and it allocates it for me. So I don't even have to think about it. So that process doesn't even go into my mind anymore. It just happens. I go into my account and I see my operating account, and this is all I have in my operating account. That's all I have to spend. So just want you to think about that. And if anybody reaches out to me on Instagram, on Coach Athenia Rodney on Instagram, I will send you the bank that you can use that will do this automatically for you. And you can have as many accounts as you want, and they don't charge you, but only to people who reach out to me. So if you are interested, reach out, put in a message, bank account on my DMs on Coach Athenia Rodney, and I will send you the information. All right. So I hope anybody have any questions on this? Consistency is key. Make sure you are allocating your money on a consistent basis into these additional accounts. So until then, your money is staying in that income account. It will stay in the income account, and then it's not until that day. So like if it's a Monday, every second and fourth Monday, those are the only times that you're going to be moving your money from that income account into those other accounts. Now, if you have bills that are coming out more frequently, you may need to do it weekly. Like I'm saying, I'm sharing is what works best for me. All right. So now profit first in action. How does an entrepreneur go from this barren land that you see here to this fruitful one? So let me share. So we have this melanated entrepreneur like myself. They work, they struggle to manage the cash. Like I was sharing, they get the money in. They have cash flow problems. They've never been able to profit anything. They don't pay themselves first. Sometimes they don't even pay themselves at all. A lot of times the money is just going out into the world. And then, like I said, start paying myself, started putting money towards profit to my profit account. And whenever there's something that came in, so like, for example, we had one of our business cards that broke down. This is the space where I would then go to that profit account. This is like my reserves, and I would use that money to pay for whatever I needed to do for an emergency situation like that. That's just partially of what your profit account is for, right? That's one part. Another part of what your profit account would be for is to pay yourself a bonus. So you might say, I want to pay myself a bonus every quarter, or like most businesses, when you had this 9 to 5 that you were in, you got paid a bonus at the end of the year around Christmas time, right? So this could be your time to figure out, oh, well, this is going to be my bonus. And with that, I'm going to say this: do not use your entire profit amount. I would only use half. So whatever you have in your account at that time that you decide that you want to give yourself a bonus, I would only give yourself half of that money, because the other half should be used for any things that you might need to pay out or pay off, or if an emergency happens for the company, so that it's not coming out of your operating account, because your operating account should only be for what? Day-to-day operations. And my business car breaking down is not a part of day-to-day operations. It's more of an emergency situation. And you're like, well, where does that money come out of from? That comes from your profit, your other half of your profit account. So I hope that helps you. And also, if you have debt or anything like that, like business debt, I'm not talking about your personal debt, I'm talking about business. This is all business stuff. If you have business debt, that this is the space now where you would then be taking that money to pay back anything. So if you took out a loan, if you took out, if you had credit cards and you need to pay that, like all of those things will come from that profit account, but only half of it, not the whole thing. Because again, the other part of it would need to be for your pockets, for your bonus. So now you get to understand. So it's like, okay, now if everything decided to break down at the end of the year and all of your profit went to that, now you can tell yourself, see, self, you're not going to get a bonus this year because there's no reserves in the account. So now you understand what a business person with these big mega corporations, they're doing that on a massive level. But you can do that too on your micro level as a business. Just because we say we're a small business owner doesn't mean that we have to be small-minded and we're not putting things in place so that we are operating in preparation for when we become this mega business owner that we see or have worked for in companies. So next, facing the cash eating monster. So what are some common pitfalls that people have experienced? Ooh, this one is real good. Because there's always something that is going to be like that cash cow, like what's going to take the money out of it. So some things that to do is overspending on operating expenses. Like I said earlier, right? You want to make sure that you are not overspending. And once you are now you have an understanding of what's in your account. because the only thing that you're spending is your operating expenses. That's the only space that money is actually coming out of. Or forgetting to pay yourself. You might just leave your money, and I've been privy to this too. I'll just leave my money in my account because I just want to see it keep going. And it's like, no, I start not to feel good about myself because I'm not getting paid. I put in all this work and I do 50, 60 hours sometimes. I spend the entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Sunday evenings after I come home from church, just working on the business. And I've never paid myself. And what is you telling yourself subconsciously? That you should put in all of this work and not get paid? And what does that then tell myself? That, oh, I need to be stingy with my money because I do all of this work and nothing comes back to me. So there are a lot of things that you are telling yourself when you are not paying yourself, when you are working for yourself. So some strategies to overcome: control cost, which means, again, look at all of the things that are coming out of your bank account and ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this something I can cut back on? I remember when I did this initially, it was so many things that I was like, oh my gosh, let me cancel this. Or money was coming out for stuff that I'd never even opened all year. I was like, oh, I'm still paying for this. I never even used it. What does it do? Like, I don't even know what it does sometimes. It's something I might have signed up for and haven't gotten the opportunity. And this too was the reason why I created my platform, because I was paying for all of these different platforms. I was paying for a text message platform. I was paying for an email message platform. I was paying for a social media management platform. I was paying for what else? I don't even know. There was I was paying for a monitoring platform to make sure that nobody, like if anybody gave me bad reviews or anything, I got a notification. So I was paying for that, like all of these things that my mind was like going crazy trying to figure out. And I was like, there got to be a better way. It has to be another system, another way to do this. And that's why I created my AR business expansion company, because I was like, I need to be all in one space and I need to pay one fee for everything instead of paying every month for all these different things. And that significantly dropped my overhead for my budget. So I implore you to do the same. And if you need somebody to sit, I do coaching. I will sit down with you. I will go over some of the things and we can see if it makes sense. I only want to do stuff that makes sense for you. At the end of the day, people know one thing I am is I'm transparent. And another thing is I'm integral, because I want to make sure that whatever is happening or whatever is going on, it actually works for you. Like, I'm not that person that's trying to sell you a pork pig. Well, pigs are porks, but I'm not trying to sell you a pig and you don't eat pork. So I'm trying to make it look all pretty. Like, I'm not doing that. So I wanted to make it make sense. And this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Last week we talked about, the wooden nickel. I'm not trying to sell you a wooden nickel, because at the end of the day, you're going to be trying to, you either going to try to sip that wooden nickel to me, or you're going to sip that wooden nickel to somebody else that eventually will end up coming back to me. Whatever happens always is cyclical. And I'm a strong believer of that. Life always comes back to you. Whatever you put out into the world will 100% come back to you tenfold. So I am always trying to put into the world good stuff so that that's what comes back to me. So in the same situation, I definitely say that it is just the same. So think about that. Control your costs, stick to allocation percentages. And we did not talk about allocation percentages, but I will definitely, when I meet with people, that's what I do. I usually, for my breakdown, for example, so like profit, I usually start people out with like a 5% profit, 5%. Let me go back to all of the different ones, right? So you have all of the different accounts. So 5% in profit, because you're paying profit first. Then the owner's compensation. And I'm saying start with owner's compensation would be 5% there, right? Then taxes, I usually do 10% in taxes. So that's already 20%. And then operating costs, I'll do the 80%. And then I'll see how that works. Once I start to lower my operating costs, expenses, then I can take that extra money. So let's say I lower my operating costs to 70%. Now I'm going to break that next piece down to the profit and the profit and the owner's compensation. So now instead of that 5%, now I'm getting 10 and 10. So then again, I lower it down to, the goal is to get your operating expenses down to half, to 50%. And the rest should be going into your owner's compensation and your profit. That's the initial goal when you are starting to run a business. Then the next goal would be to start to reduce the owner's compensation to the point where your operating expenses are getting higher, because now you're hiring staff to run your full operation. And the only thing that you're getting out of it is profit, because you're not working your business as much. You're only overseeing it. Does that make sense? So now you have, these are allocations that I can talk to you and work you through so that you can start to change your funds so that you can see where your owner's compensation should end up going down to like 3 to 2%, right? And your operating expenses will probably be about 80%. And your profit now is what you are getting paid off. And that's where I will start paying myself every quarter so that I can be still getting something from my business, even though I'm not operating in it. So I know I went back a little bit. I just wanted to give you all some of those things. So now next steps. What are next steps? The first and foremost is to open 5 bank accounts. And like I said, you shouldn't be all in the same bank, but initially you might want to start there just so that you can get comfortable and get used to it. And then once you are used to it, then you can take your taxes and your profit accounts and put those into another bank where it'll be interest bearing. Okay. Next, assess your current allocation percentages, which is what I was just talking about, how to break down those percentages so that you are getting your percentages in different buckets, starting off with your goal. I want to get my profit at 15, my own compensation at 10 or 15, and then I want to get my operating costs at 50. And then schedule regular allocation days. Like what days? Oh, I skipped one. Sorry. Set initial percentage for profit, tax, and compensation, which is the same. And then schedule regular allocation days, which I talked about. Do you want to do it bi-weekly? Do you want to do it weekly? How often do you have money coming in? Do you have money coming into your account every 1st and 15th? And maybe then you want to do it on the 2nd and the 16th. So that you have the money in your account and then you are able to transcribe it afterwards. So what is the call to action? Your financial success uplifts the entire community. People are like, oh, well, what's the whole purpose of this? Because when you are successful, we are successful. And especially going into this new administration, I need us to believe and understand that the only way that we are going to be able to move through this administration in these next 4 years is by us being okay. The only way we could be okay is by us being diligent with our money to make sure that we're doing what we need to do with it the right way. And we are making funds move. Take control of your cash flow and let's create a legacy of wealth and empowerment so that we are taking things in so that we can pass down legacy to our children and our children's children. And we talked about last week, we talked just about that. I was meeting with Janelle. She was talking about the Bible verse and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is creating a legacy of wealth that not just affects your children, but it affects your grandchildren. To know that I'm like, oh, wow. My grandchildren are going to be taken care of because of the business that I started today, not just about what I'm able to do so that I can get some money in my pocket right now. But this, as you see, it wasn't that difficult. It's really just allocating the money and having a mindset shift so that you are able to understand how to go about paying yourself first. So that's it, y'all. That's it. This is all my contact information, an email, the website, the Instagram page. Like I said, if you go into my Instagram and you message me, I will definitely get back to you, put in their bank account, and I will send you the bank that you can sign up for so that you can get a free bank account. go to my website, atheniarodney.com, where you can learn a little bit more about all of the stuff that I have been doing, which includes I've been coaching. I've been doing lives recently every morning. So please make sure to go and listen to a live every morning, because it's worth it. Trust me. I don't talk about foolishness. I'm talking about, and I'm not just talking about business as well. Like I said last week, I was talking about confidence, because in order for us to be in business and to be business owners, we have to have a level of confidence in ourselves. We have to grow what that is, and we have to learn how to build it. And all of that starts with small wins. And this is the same thing with your finances. Small wins. Open up the 5 bank account. That's a small win. We're like, yes, look, I started something. I did something different. So that if you never make any changes, you will never see a change. So I would definitely love to meet with anyone who likes to get some coaching. I do coaching with individuals for a nominal fee at least twice a month. I haven't gotten to group coaching yet, but I am on Sundays. I'm going to be starting to do mastermind Sundays, when I'm going to get on live and have businesses join me while we're on the live. They're going to tell me what some of their issues are. And I want us communally to suggest how we might be able to support this business or it to grow. So it might be a concern or something like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to do promotions and I sell baby socks. We'll go over like what are the steps that you need to take. And some people might have some suggestions or connection for you that they might be able to connect you to, so that you can get your business off the ground and be able to go far from there. So what I want to leave you with on today is, where'd it go? You can put it back up. Sorry. I offer, so this is just the information. I offer personalized coaching and services that help you reach your full potential through automation, organization, and streamlining. And I kind of talked about all of that throughout this entire process as I was sharing. The automation is what helps your business to thrive and grow. Creating systems, understanding what you do every day, maybe having something that can fill in the place so you don't have to take up so much time and mental space. Organizing yourself. A lot of people are like, Athenia, how do you do all that you do? I'll be watching your social media page and you have 3-4 businesses, you have 3 kids, you have your husband, and you seem to find time for all of it. And it's really about organization. How are you organizing your day? And then streamlining. What ways are you streamlining the process? Like I said, for this, my finances, it automatically does it for me. So that is, again, something else that is being taken off my plate that I don't have to worry about. So if you are interested, I am open and willing to take on, I think I have space for maybe 5 more people. I am not in a space of trying to have all of these customers and all that other stuff. I am very selective. So you do have to go through a process. We will interview with each other to make sure we're a right fit. Again, like I shared earlier, I'm not trying to look for people's money. I want to make sure that whatever I am able to offer and provide is something that you actually need and that I can actually help you with. So if I can't, I will let you know I'm not the right person for you and maybe you should find someone else. But I hope that I am, and I hope that you reach out, and I hope that you learn a little bit more and continue to follow me. Like, follow, share. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you have an amazing holiday, Thanksgiving. I hope that you are taking this time to be grateful for all of your loved ones and all of the things that you have in your life. So have a blessed one. Have a good one. Bye.